Hey, this is Brad, filterwaterdirect.com. I'm going to go through the disassembly and service procedures for the PSC34 USA poly salt-free water softener. This filter is very much like our 1-inch model, with the exception that this filter uses a hydronics housing. So it's going to use NPT 3/4 inch threads on both sides. Okay, there's an arrow on top showing the water flow, so when you hook it up, just make sure it's going the correct direction. It also includes a pressure relief, so before you service the filter, make sure your water's shut off. Press the red button, it's going to release the water on the housing so it doesn't make a mess whenever you take it apart. This kit also includes a wall bracket, which would typically be mounted like so. And it's going to come with 4 screws. I've got customers that ask me if those screws are for the wall. The screws are actually for the top of the housing. Okay, you'll supply your own screws for your wall to screw the bracket to the wall. And then it includes a housing wrench for making it easier to unscrew the housing. So servicing is actually pretty easy. You're going to want to do this every 6 or 8 months, but you're going to screw the bottom off, and normally this would be hanging from your wall, so the black housing and the bracket's going to be on the wall. You'll unscrew the bottom, and the interior components, I just want to talk about those. You can keep a little Vaseline or silicone grease on this rubber O-ring when you service it. It's going to come with when you purchase it, it's going to come with a full 6 ounces of polyphosphate cartridge ready to go. It's going to come with an inner tube and of course the catalytic hard water bullet core. Okay, there's a stainless rivet down here at the bottom, so when you take this out and service it with vinegar and a wire brush, clean this tube real well, drop that back in there. There will be additional video on the end of this video showing how to dismantle this cartridge and fill it if you prefer to fill it. If you don't prefer to fill it, we have these on our website, complete, ready to go, already filled. It's up to you, but most of my customers prefer to service their own. After components are all cleaned, you're going to push the tube back in the top. Notice there is a top and bottom. Push this tube back in the top to where the rivet is just above, and there's also a 25 micron stainless permanent screen involved, and it serves 2 purposes. Number one, it's water filtration, but its bigger purpose is that it houses this cartridge, okay, and keeps it straight inside this housing. So we're going to drop this into the housing first, and it'll center. You're going to drop this next, and make sure the tube is fairly centered, and then screw the top and bottom together, and you'll feel it. Okay, that's screwed together. You can shake it; it won't come out of place at that point. So that's it. That's going to be done as needed. If you have iron in your water, you know, probably more often than if you don't have iron. But 6 to 8 months. A lot of RVers and boats, we offer this to them because it's a popular product and it's easy to install and easy to maintain. Hey, this is Brad, filterwaterdirect.com. I'm going to take a few minutes and go through servicing the polyphosphate cartridge out of the PSC1 salt-free water softeners. And this can be a challenge if you don't know how to do it, and you know, its cartridge is made to refill, but it's a tight cartridge. And one thing I will tell you is if you've got more than a half of a cartridge of polyphosphate, it's going to be a challenge to take it apart because it makes it stick together. But nevertheless, it does come apart, and I'll show you the method that I use to take mine apart. So we know we have polyphosphate inside there because we can hear it shake. Okay, so you've got the 2 ends. This is the unvented end. This is the vented end. It's got the 4 slots in the top of it. So from the solid end, you've got a seam. I'll get the camera real close. There's a seam right here at the base, and this would be the unvented end. You'll want to find this seam, okay? What I like to do I like to take a utility knife and find that seam and begin to open it up just a little bit, and you can see it begin to open. Okay, and work it around. Make sure that it's all, you're not actually cutting it, you're just getting it ready to open up. You're cleaning it is what you're doing. Okay, so run your knife around that seam, and then I use 2 small screwdrivers, just small flathead screwdrivers. Sometimes it takes 2, sometimes you can do it with 1. And you can see I've serviced this before. So this is actually the cartridge out of my own personal filter. So I started in there. You see it open up like that right there. And take your time with it, okay? Just pry on it. They do break, but they're pretty durable. And you can see this is going to come apart now, okay? There you go. And when you hear that pop, it's going to come apart. And you're going to have material that's going to fall out of it, okay? Here's your polyphosphate. And here's the disc, which you can take off. Okay, and this is the interior tube. So this is reusable many, many times. And the first time you take it apart, from then on, it will get easier to take apart. Refilling, you're just going to want to put this back in. This one end, there's a groove in here that this disc has to snap into. If you get it wrong, it won't snap in the correct end. So you'll hear it pop, okay, like so. Okay, then after you add your polyphosphate, which will be in the outside, not the inside, but the outside, your disc, and by the way, don't overfill this cartridge. This cartridge, I never put more than 2/3 full in mine, okay, because I service mine every 4 or 5 months anyway, just to see how it's doing. And there's no sense in wasting the polyphosphate. And while we're talking about that, I have learned and determined on my own product that, you know, polyphosphate, you can, this is probably 4 months old here. And you can begin to see some of the whiter beads. That's breaking down, and it's going to dissolve and maybe not do its job. So I recommend just discarding any polyphosphate in it and adding new polyphosphate. We've got the kits on the website for $29.99. You can also buy it on Amazon or a lot of places by bulk. But I recommend just putting fresh, clean polyphosphate in it, and then snapping the top in, okay, and then dropping that back down in. Your catalytic core, I've talked about this in various videos. This is good forever, but you'll never get it as clean as it came when it was new, but it doesn't alter the operation. Just clean it well with a brass wire brush under water and soak it in vinegar if you need to. And once you get this installed back in your filter, just drop this back in place. And that's all there is to it. We have these on our website already full, ready to go. Or we also have just the packets on our website of polyphosphate if you feel like servicing your own.